Okay, hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to try and explain how to use my worksheet that I created to demonstrate the principles around transfer mispricing and re-invoicing, which is a practice carried out by some unscrupulous multinationals to reduce their overall tax bill and increase their profits artificially, and deprives developing country governments and developed governments of tax income, which is a big contributing factor to poverty around the world. So it's a complicated issue, which is why I created the worksheet, and it's a complicated worksheet, which is why I created this video. I was going to write out a big long explanation, but then I realized probably this video screencast might be more effective. So here's the worksheet. And what we have is Yellow Banana International, which is a multinational banana corporation. And what we're going to do on the worksheet is work through the accounts for a 3-year period to demonstrate the principles behind re-invoicing and transfer mispricing. So in the year 2010, the company only has 2 subsidiaries. The first one is this yellow grower down the bottom, which is based in the Philippines and is where the plantation is, where they grow their bananas, and the yellow importer, which is the Japanese corporation, which imports the bananas from the Philippines and sells them onto the consumer. So, for the year 2010, Yellow Banana International is operating completely legitimately and along international business standards. And we'll just run through the accounts. So the yellow grower has a plantation, very small plantation, which can only grow 100 bananas per year, and it costs them 10 yen per banana to grow. So if we work out the expenses for the year, 10 times 100 in my book is 1,000 yen in expenses for that company. Now they have decided, based on their costs, that selling their bananas at 20 yen per banana would be a fair price and gives them a nice profit. This they agree with the yellow importer company is a fair price for their bananas, and this is what's called an arm's length price. So they're operating on the arm's length principle. They're operating as if the yellow grower and the yellow importer were separate companies and weren't owned by the same parent multinational. So their income for the year is 2,000 yen, which means they've made a pre-tax profit of 1,000 yen. Then we have to work out the tax they pay on that in the Philippines. So the corporate tax rate on profits in the Philippines is currently, in this example, 30%. So 30% of 1,000, even with my school maths, is 300 yen, which means their after-tax profit is 700 yen. So the important thing to point out here is this 300 yen, which they're paying to the Philippine government, is what the Philippine government uses to spend on schools and hospitals, infrastructure, roads, and improving the lot of their people. So let's just complete the year for 2010. So we go up to the Japanese company. Their expenses for the years, well, they've bought the bananas for 20 yen per banana, so they've got expenses of 2,000. And now the Japanese company sells their bananas for 100 yen per banana, meaning a income of 10,000 yen. This means a pre-tax profit of 8,000. And this is where the maths gets a little bit more complicated. The corporate tax rate in Japan, in this example, is 40%. So 8,000 times 0.4 is 3,200 yen paid in tax to the Japanese government, which means a after-tax profit of 4,800 from the Japanese subsidiary. Adding this all together for the company internationally overall, 2010 we've got 700 down there plus 4,800 means a after-tax profit for the whole company of 5,500. So at this point, Yellow Banana's shareholders start to get a bit tetchy. They think the company should make more money than 5,500 yen a year, and so they put pressure on the chief executive to increase profits for next year. So this is where the phenomenon of transfer mispricing comes into play. So if you're running a workshop, you can set your participants the challenge at this point of deciding on this sale price for the year 2011 to try and increase their profits for the company overall. You can either give them that challenge or just walk them through, like I'm going to walk you guys through. It's up to you. So, to increase profits, what can we do? Well, for the purposes of this example, we're going to limit you. So you can't increase the size of the plantation. You can't increase the price of your bananas that you're going to sell in Japan. The only thing we're going to allow you to change is the sale price, the internal sale price of this banana. So you'll have noticed that the tax rate in Japan is higher, 40%, than the tax rate in the Philippines at 30%. So what would make sense, if you think about it, is to shift profits from the higher tax region to the lower tax region of the Philippines. So that's what we'll do, and we do this by artificially inflating the price of the banana that we sell in between the company. So let's say sale price of 100 yen per banana, so a big jump. This means that the income for the Philippines subsidiary is now 10,000 yen, fantastic for them. Expenses are just the same, still growing those 100 bananas at 10 yen per banana, so expenses of 1,000, a pre-tax profit of 9,000, and therefore 9,000 times 0.3 equals the tax paid of 2,700 yen to the Philippine government, which means after-tax profit of 9,000 minus 2,700 of 6,300. So then to complete the year for 2011, we go up to the Japanese company. Their income is just the same, still selling those 100 bananas at 100 yen per banana, 10,000, but they've now paid this inflated price for the bananas, meaning their expenses are also 10,000, resulting in a pre-tax profit of 0, and therefore 0 tax paid on that profit, and therefore 0 after-tax profit. So in this situation, the Japanese government is not going to be very happy with this, obviously. Their income's gone way down, and the Philippine government will be pleasantly surprised, no doubt. And in fact, in transfer pricing disputes, it's always the country that loses out that complains. So this is an example of that. So just to finish off the overall accounts for 2011, the overall after-tax profit is going to be 6,300. So you can see here from 2010 to 2011, we've increased the overall after-tax profits of the company by 800 yen simply by adjusting this internal transfer price of the banana. And it's important to point out that no more efficient banana has been grown in this process. There's been no more productive economic activity as a result of these that has resulted in these increased profits. It's simply a manipulation of the system. Okay, so then the shareholders are saying, well, fantastic, you've got us some extra profits, but surely we can do more. So for the year 2012, what we're going to introduce is this tax haven subsidiary. So Yellow Hong Kong opens up for business, and of course the one of the attractive things about operating in a tax haven is the lower tax rates, and for this case I've given a Hong Kong tax rate of 0%. So at this stage again you can give the challenge to your workshop participants of filling in these internal transfer prices themselves to try and maximize the profits for the company, or you can walk them through again. So this time we're going to try and shift the profits away from both the Philippines and Japan into the Hong Kong business, and the way we do that is by artificially lowering the price this time to the Philippine subsidiary. So we're only going to pay them 10 yen per banana for each one, which means an income for them of 1,000 yen. Their expenses are still the same size plantation, etc., of 1,000, which means they have 0 pre-tax profits, they pay 0 tax on it, and they therefore have an after-tax profit of 0. This means the expenses of the Hong Kong subsidiary, which they've sold the bananas to, on paper at least, the actual bananas will probably still travel on a boat straight to Japan, is 1,000. And the way to shift the profits out of Japan again is to artificially inflate this price. You can probably see where this is going now, to 100. The income for the Hong Kong subsidiary would be 10,000, resulting in a pre-tax profit of 9,000, and of course the generous rate of corporation tax at 0% means that no tax is paid, and their after-tax profit is 9,000. And just to finish off the equation, the income, again, Japanese company, still the same, 10,000. Expenses at this inflated price, also 10,000, meaning no profit made in this high tax region, no tax paid, and no after-tax profit either. Therefore, overall for the whole company is 0 plus 0 plus 9,000. The after-tax profit is 9,000, and the company has avoided paying any corporation tax simply by artificially adjusting these transfer prices, and this is an example of what's called re-invoicing. So, as you can see, this practice has artificially extracted profits from the Philippines and from the Japanese government, and this means less money to spend on teachers, education, hospitals, medical supplies, all the things that you need to run a decent economy and provide for your people. Likewise from the Japanese, this loss in tax income has to be made up from somewhere, and it's more often than not the little guy who can't afford these complicated structures to try and avoid taxes. And again, this is a big contributing factor to global poverty. So this is a completely fictitious example, but as you can see from this web page, an article in The Guardian in 2007, they did an investigation into British, international banana companies importing bananas into the UK, and this highlighted paragraph down here shows that Del Monte Fresh Produce UK, Chiquita UK, and Dole's UK business, JP Fresh, reported combined sales in the UK of over 400 million in their most recently filed annual accounts. Yet between them, all three companies added together, they only paid £128,000 in UK tax. So this is a real issue, and one that hopefully by using this worksheet you'll be able to get across to your participants. So thank you very much for your attention, and good luck running it in your workshop. Thank you.